All right, so we are joined today by Guillermo Salas and Cristin Holloway, and they're in like Philly, South Jersey. Cristin, how long have you guys been over at eXp? And then we'll get into Guillermo's story.
Now since December, I think it's December 2nd, so like a little over 6 months.
Awesome. So I definitely want to get an update from you guys on your journey so far. And Guillermo, this is really more about you. And kind of your journey to eXp and like how you guys had some other thought for expansion in mind before this, and just the crazy web that we've now all woven in this world of eXp. So Guillermo, can I tell a little bit your story, really brief, your background, because I don't want to sort of spin out on that, but and then let's talk about what we're building and how people can be a part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's really an exercise of just being open to possibilities, no matter where you are in life. And so real briefly, my background was, this is my second career. I was a recovering attorney, worked for a large law firm, had no intention of ever selling real estate, decided to be an investor, did that for a little bit, got my license at one point to help, supplement the costs of buying and selling, built a large team. Then decided, hey, the next thing, that next rung that everybody tells me you got to do when you're achieving is go open a brokerage. And so I did that, 6 RE/MAX offices, left that because I just saw this other model I thought was better at Realty One, and did that for about 3 years. And then, man, had a conversation sometime late fall that I was not intending to happen late fall 2021, and just rocked my world in a very good way. So that led to me being at eXp. So I got to thank those two down there, and you too, Lars, for just opening my eyes.
Yeah. So Cristin, I'll let you pick up that part of the story. So talk a little bit about like what you guys had talked about and expansion, and like, wouldn't it be cool? Kind of tell that side of the story.
You want me to go? Yeah.
I can start. So yeah, we have similar teams. Guillermo and our team, he's mostly in Philly, but also Jersey. We're in South Jersey. And so we've always talked about doing something together, whether it be opening a brokerage, title. I mean, it was sort of the plan was to join up and open a brokerage. Really, it was like kind of what we had been talking about for about a year. But we had been in masterminds together and coached with Rebs together. So we just had a good relationship, and, it was sort of like, I kind of went to, he kind of thought we were going to open the brokerage, and I kind of went to him in late fall and said, I'm not going to do this. This is what I'm going to do instead. And, that's sort of how it happened.
Yeah. So yeah, go ahead, Chris.
No, I was just gonna say, like, and like she said, our teams are similar, where we can be kind of, Guillermo already owned brokerages. We had been talking about that as the next step, because we've always been kind of like, we've almost had our own culture, our own team, despite whatever brokerage we were at. We didn't really rely on any brokerage for anything, whether we were at KW or Compass or whatever it was. So it just made sense. Like, we were either going to go independent, we were going to open something with Guillermo, and that was always one of the plans until we were presented with this opportunity. And then the conversation was like, Guillermo, I don't think we're going to do the brokerage thing. We're going to do this instead. And I'll kind of let Guillermo pick it up from there.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, you think it would be disappointment, but when they sort of pointed me in the direction, sent me that video on eXp, and I actually watched it, right? Like, because I had ignored it before. It was like such a weight off my shoulders, because I had worked for many, many years building brokerage offices, and I had just really gone in deep and literally just focused all my energy for 3 years to build a pretty sizable office in Philadelphia, and made very little profit. and the region was like, hey, Guillermo, go do it again. Go open up another office. And the prospect of opening another office and just put another 2 or 3 years where you're not making money, you're just dumping money into it. And I enjoy the agent side, right? Just helping grow them. But it is exhausting, and just in some cases really demoralizing in terms of what you see happen out there. So when they were able to show me, hey, there's this other option out there, and I actually took the time and studied the model, I was like, this is it. This is the thing that I've been trying to like figure out for like my entire career, right? My 12, 13 years in the business, that will allow me to like get off the hamster wheel, help all my other agents in alignment with me, right? It's not just against each other. It's like we're all in alignment, get off the hamster wheel if we so choose, and just be in a platform that maximizes the value of what you're doing anyway. I'm like, we're doing this activity anyway. And so like, why not be in a platform that actually helps you maximize it? And that was the remarkable part of it. And it hasn't come out on this video now, but I don't actually live in the States right now, right? So I live in another country in Spain for the last year. In fact, tomorrow will be my 1-year anniversary in Spain. We're going to stay here for another year. And that part of it is also just blew my mind. Like I could do what I'm doing anywhere in the world and help so many more people than I was able to do in Philly, because it's just like, you know, there's like this pocket, you live in this pocket, you can help these people out, but not this neighborhood, right? You got to open another office in this neighborhood to do that. Makes no sense, right? Absolutely no sense.
Yeah, and I remember, and I want to hear, I have so many thoughts that are running through my mind. But I remember, Guillermo, when we launched your office, and you know, it was exactly what you had sold everyone in your brokerage, even their existing, you know, Realty One agents, and they're like, the cap and split model is always more expensive. And we put like however many through, it was north of 50 through, and there was like 4 agents out of all of them that would be paying more money in the thing that you had been sort of, I say brainwashing because maybe you believed it, maybe you didn't, but essentially you're saying like, hey, anyone like KW or, you know, anyone that wants to take a split, you're going to end up investing more with them, and the value is just not there. And so maybe talk a little bit about that, and then I want to hit Chris and Cristin up again with a question.
Yeah, I mean, that was a big part of it. And we had that conversation. It's like, hey, while it absolutely made sense for me financially, I wasn't doing it unless it made sense for all the agents in my office as well. And so as you are, I'm a spreadsheet nerd. And so we analyzed everybody in the organization. Actually, as I learned more about the model and fine-tuned it, it actually ended up being only one person who was financially not going to make as much money from the split sort of sales portion of it. But it was so minimal that if you just add one of the other pieces, and there's so many pieces of value at eXp, it more than offsets, and then you had a platform to grow even more. And so it absolutely boggled my mind, because I believe that the flat fee model versus a quote unquote split model, no way, right? And we analyzed it, and the value there, it just worked out in favor that the agents were making more money just from the sales side of things, for sure. And I don't know where I heard it, but you can't save yourself to financial freedom. Mm-hmm. And that's what I think I had at some point just bought into, and it's absolutely the wrong path for folks.
Yeah. So Cristin, I think it was a conversation that you and I had, and let me back up a second. So it should be said that, you know, between the you know, your team, Chris and Cristin and Guillermo, I mean, you guys are selling a lot of real estate. Like what did 2021 real quick look like for the Holloways? How many million volume?
55.
55. And Guillermo, for sort of your core team?
For my core team, about 40, and then our entire organization I brought over was about 90.
Yeah. So we're talking to folks that have been in the industry for a long time. They've been with collectively, you know, Compass, Keller Williams, Realty One, Remax, any others?
Keep going.
All of them. Let's just say all of them. And Cristin, there was something that you said, and I forget how you said it, but there was like a part of you that just wasn't like, you know, you had talked to Guillermo about like, let's open, you know, on this side, like in Jersey, like an office with this brokerage. And there was part of you that was just like not totally bought in or enthusiastic about it. And when you really slowed down and studied eXp, because you guys came from Compass, how'd that kind of work in your brain? You know, when you freed yourself to actually look at this thing unbiased, how'd you feel when you finally understood eXp and the platform?
Yeah, I think for me, it was like I had taken the journey to business freedom through Rebs, and like literally stopped, you know, being in production on the buy side. And so like my life had changed in terms of like the level of work and those kinds of things. And then the thought of opening a brokerage and then having all of the responsibility and recruiting and all of that just felt like a step backwards for me. So that was my big thing. I had, you know, I had so much time and freedom, and I just felt like that wasn't the right model, although I wanted what I thought a brokerage could achieve. So then when I was introduced to this, I thought, well, wow, I could really do the same thing with less overhead responsibility and it just works. Everything that I wanted out of the brokerage, I'm getting out of this.
And
So,
also recruit if you wanted to, but not because you had to.
right.
Yeah. And just so everyone that's listening understands, and Guillermo, I want to give you some last thoughts, but also a way to get in touch with you. The reason that any one of us can expand based on our relationships anywhere, 22 countries now, so Canada, US, and 20 other countries, is because eXp is already in operation in all these places. And so I can onboard, 100 agents today and 2 agents in every state. And so it's just like when you think about like the operations piece, different from the relationships and the growth side of things. And eXp, all eXp did was use a model similar to KW, the 7 levels of profit share that had KW go from a sort of regional, Texas-based brokerage back in the day to, sort of blow up and become what it's become, is because there's no better industry to have sort of word of mouth and sphere peer-to-peer, being the thing that grows the company. And so just so you can wrap your head around that, that's why everyone at this point has been like, okay, eXp, like I got it, but have you really studied it? I didn't study it. I mean, Chris and Cristin and Guillermo were in my world where I probably told them you're stupid if you look at it. Because I, for whatever reason, I just sort of chalked it up to a multi-level scheme, and I didn't give it. It's like, it's just a platform. It's just a brokerage that offers health insurance, 5 ways to earn stock, a tech stack, legit training, a community where we're like all having fun again and building together, where Guillermo can live in Spain and we're still like getting on calls and we're still helping each other. So I want to give you, Guillermo, maybe just give some thoughts on, where you're at today, what you're excited about, and any final thoughts, and then I'll give Chris and Cristin the same.
Yeah, no, for me, it's just trying to reach as many people as possible. And there's a statement that one of my mentors a long time ago, a guy who taught me, how to take care of this and law of attraction. As I was vacillating on whether to actually engage him, he told me, he's like, hey, I want you to understand, whether you sign up with me or not, it will not affect my standard of living in one way or another. However, the stuff that I'm going to teach you will absolutely dramatically change your lifestyle for the better. And he was right. Like, it made me a better husband, a better father, a better business person. And I remember that moment vividly. And I feel like this is just another moment just like that. I think people are just challenged with a lot of the propaganda against what eXp truly stands for, what it is, and it's a shame, because they view it from this place like, hey, you just want to put me here down. Like, it's not that, because I know most of the people in this organization who are doing this at a high level, it will not impact their standard of living. However, if you join eXp and maximize and take advantage of all that it offers, and it's just mind blowing, all the stuff that all the value and innovation that they're put in place, it will absolutely dramatically change your life for the better. And that's really what I wish people could just be open to understand and digest them, because we'll go and binge watch things for weeks, hours on top of hours, but we won't commit 3 to 5 hours of actually studying this model and seeing whether it fits for us.
Mm-hmm. That's a really good point. So, the ask is for you to study it and then make a wise decision.
Yeah.
And that's it. And I didn't do it. One person in 2017 sent me one video. Nobody for some reason sent me a video since then, until John called me in like September 2020. But that video, I distinctly remember, he said, this thing is ground floor opportunity. You're going to miss out. You've got to watch this video today. I watched 1 minute of the video. And I'm like, and I was outside playing with my kids, and I'm like, video, like, what are we doing here? Yeah. And now it's like, hey, Chris and Cristin, will you guys watch this video? But it's based on relationship. They know my heart, to your point, like, this isn't going to change my lifestyle, but it could be really fun, all living in Spain together. Or is there any tax benefit to live in Spain?
No, I've actually the opposite.
Puerto Rico it is. So hopefully,
Puerto Rico, yeah.
So Chris and Cristin, any final thoughts? And then I want to share something that just came out in Inman today. Any thoughts on the conversation to kind of close this out?
No, I mean, we're excited. Our organization is up to 58. I checked it this morning, 58 people. We're growing. We're, it's like, it's just what it has become in such a short amount of time is just encouraging and exciting.
Yeah, awesome. And I heard it said many times, if you can get to 50, you can get to 500. If you get to 500, you can get to 5,000. And that's the kind of growth that's possible. Guillermo, think of a good contact for you here in a second, but I'm gonna quote some of this. I won't even share the screen, but there was this Inman article that talked about why eXp is uniquely positioned for, what's going to happen here in the future. So it's unlikely that anything but like major interest rate hikes are going to temper the inflation that's going on. And so like 1 or 2 or 3 more % increase in the Fed funds rate. But there was an article that looked at operating expenses. So just from a business perspective, eXp in the first quarter of this year, their operating expenses, which is the cost to operate the company. We don't have any physical facilities where, we have these avatars that we go walk around in the world and we talk to each other. You could think it's goofy, but it's quarterly 691. I guess this is, are these, I guess it would be 1,000. It wouldn't be million. Anyway, it's 691. The next closest, and on this chart is Realogy, Redfin, Compass, and Douglas Elliman, are more than 10 times the operating expenses. More than 10 times. And if you compare, I won't say which two they are, but they're one of the ones we mentioned earlier. We sold twice the amount of homes as one of these 4. And our operating expenses are like 8% of this company. So we're selling twice the amount of homes. So just take it out of because you guys bought franchises, you ran a Remax, you thought it'd be better with Realty One. It's just the same crap. It's just another franchise with all these layers. But every industry has been disrupted by someone that can figure out how to deliver and cut out a whole bunch of wasted expenses and figure out a better way to grow the company than the regional people that hire the local people, that hire the recruiters, that, and the agents are left there selling all the homes to pay for the recruiters, to pay for their, it's this rat race that's not winnable from the agent perspective. So, that was a little bit of a rant, but it's the context is helpful because this is the time where you really want to plug into a platform like this, where our confidence level going into any amount of months, 6, 12, 18, 24, 36 months to figure out the mess that we're in from an economic standpoint. So this is the platform that you want to be in. Guillermo, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
You know what? I'm just going to give cell number at 267-288-8080. Text or call either 267-288-8080.
Awesome. All right, guys, it's going to be, I think it's going to be so much fun over the next 6 to 12 months when everyone is freaking out. I think the level of fear, uncertainty, and this is me coaching myself every day because I can get in the rabbit hole of it too, but the level of FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt in the general sort of, public, but in real estate specifically, I think that's going to have a lot of real estate agents wondering how are we going to make it through the end of the world here? And we can just legitimately, genuinely come alongside them and help them through this. Because when did you guys, Cristin and Chris, when did you guys get into real estate?
2009.
2009. So in the midst of the last crisis. Guillermo, when did you get in?
2011.
2011. Oh, so I'm the oldest real estate agent in here. So Cristin and I have been in that crappy market, and Guillermo, you probably were an investor in the crappy market, but then
oh yeah, for sure.
So we've definitely been there. We will be your leaders in this new movement. So reach out to Guillermo, and you get all of us. It's like this beautiful partnership. So I love you guys, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Reach out to Guillermo and have a conversation with him. And like he said, it's going to take a few hours to study it, but that's all he's going to ask you to do. All right, guys, talk soon.